Remember when all those indie titles announced delays after Hollow Knight Silksong got a release date? How some people said it was unnecessary because the hype is completely overblown, or for some other similarly suspect reason. Now that Team Cherry sequel is finally available across all platforms and Game Pass, those delays were undoubtedly the right call, because as soon as the clock struck 7 AM PST, the very second Steam broke. The front page still seemed accessible at the very least, but I couldn't access Silksong's Steam page. Something went wrong, we were unable to service your request, accompanied by these cartoon creatures that I didn't even know existed on Steam, and it continued like this for a few minutes. Then, it was back up, but it wouldn't recognize the game in my cart. But by this point, I had already bought it on GOG. For however long, SteamDB revealed that the game was sustaining very high amounts of traffic, which I've never seen before. But it wasn't just Steam. The Xbox Store and Nintendo eShop also faltered. The PlayStation Store is more ambiguous, but seemingly faced issues as well. For all intents and purposes, even if it was just for several minutes, Silksong had effectively broken the major gaming storefronts, an unprecedented feat, which probably explains why the peak concurrent player count on Steam was, at the time of writing, 535,213. It's probably the first time gamers have actually wanted pre-orders for a title. As the most wishlisted game on the platform, Silksong's actual sales across all platforms are likely in the millions. How many remains to be seen, and that doesn't even account for those playing through Game Pass on PC or consoles. Yet after more than 6 years of waiting since its announcement, all the delays, the Clown Knight memes, the Silksanity, the constant spamming of Silksong and live chats for various Nintendo Directs, it feels good to say that Hollow Knight Silksong is finally available. And I, like several others, am addicted. No one should be surprised, and yet it's an uncanny feeling to journey into this unknown world with very little indication of what to expect. We know that Hornet, a key figure from the first game, has been captured and brought to the Kingdom of Farloom for some unknown purpose. We know that it's cursed, and she must ascend to the Citadel, where her answers may or may not await. We know that there are dozens of charming bugs to interact with, hundreds of new enemy types, and dozens of fresh bosses to conquer. But actually controlling Hornet and feeling our way through this world, transitioning from acres to bone-laden caverns and fiery docks, is almost surreal. Skeptics would say that's just the launch excitement and hype, and granted, that did slowly die down when it became apparent that Silksong is an actual game and not a mass hallucination. However, that feeling of wonder and experiencing it together with everyone else is genuine. Not knowing what awaits around every corner is something that carries over from Hollow Knight. Aside from her determination and chivalry, Hornet is very much a blank slate, armed with only a needle. No compass, no map. She doesn't even have a quill for noting down new areas. It can be uncomfortable in the early goings, especially with the sheer buffet of threats, but thankfully, a warrior/cartographer by the name of Chakra can impart those tools immediately. That's only the beginning though, as every new location means acquiring a new map. The best/most exciting/scary part. You still have no idea what to expect. Those traversed corridors don't tell the whole story, nor do they indicate how all these locations tie together and back again, and that's only the first few hours. There are so many colorful characters to interact with, from the Fleamaster Caravan with their greetings to the mischievous thieving Grindel or Sherma, who's playfully making music even as his fellow bugs lose their minds. Chakra was a favorite based on design alone, but her backstory and interactions with Hornet are sublime. I would be lying if I said one of the biggest reasons for venturing into new areas wasn't to follow her mesmerizing singing and see if she has any insights. Of course, that doesn't account for the sheer number of side quests, known as wishes, which encourage revisiting previous areas and venturing into the unknown alike, or the new tools that can be forged for the new offensive and defensive capabilities, or even the various crests, which alter movesets and loadouts alike, or the various fleas that lie in wait to be rescued, or all the new lines that NPCs utter whenever I revisit locations. I know I'm only a few hours in, but they feel like they've passed in the blink of an eye. Things are already so compelling on the surface level, and I can't wait to see how much more intricate and involved they become 10, 20, 30 hours in, maybe more, because no one knows just how big Silksong is, which is another exciting prospect. All the excitement and hype drove players to bring the various storefronts to their knees, both because the wait has been so long and Hollow Knight is so beloved. But it's the nature of Silksong that has so many currently glued to their screens, plunging into its depths and heights to solve its mysteries. What is this curse enveloping Farloom? Should I go back to the Forge Daughter and make some new offensive tools, or save them for purchasing any maps that may come up? Which crest is my favorite because I don't have a ton of memory lockets for upgrading all of them? Should I go back to Bone Bottom and see if there's any requests, investigate a mystery or two, or continue my ascent to the Citadel? What is the significance of all those massive locked doors? It's really an endless thought process, but it never feels overwhelming. Despite how different Farloom is from Hollow Nest, there's this distinctive feeling of returning home, taking in the atmosphere, the music, the backgrounds, and the attention to detail. It all feels distinct and fresh, but channels everything beloved about Hollow Knight's presentation. Perhaps it's the lack of pretentiousness in everything that Silksong has to offer and how genuine it feels. Or maybe the connection between its various elements and characters, which makes the world feel more alive. Maybe it's just a really well-crafted video game, where the enthusiasm of its creators in its development over so many years emanates from every single element. There's just so many incredible touches and nuances in the animations and environmental interactions that could have been skipped over, and yet I can't imagine the experience without them. How far Hollow Knight Silksong will go in terms of sales and accolades is unknown, but mostly because I know the strengths of the other titles that have already been released. The fact that it has its hooks in this deep into me already, and it feels like I'm only just getting started, is as frightening as it is exciting. Just how massive is the scale? And what awaits at the end? Is it all about the destination or the climb? I really can't wait to find out, and purely based on its sheer quality, I imagine it's the same for millions of others. Hey, did you know that we at Gaming Bolt upload new videos every day? Stick around, drop a like, subscribe, and hit that bell. And let us know what kind of content you'd like to see in the future with a comment below.